Alright, so going over the answers here, okay? Again, someone claims that 40% of Americans own a cat. So we're dealing with proportions, and I'm going to say P is equal to 0.4. Alright, and the question is asked, is this evidence that less than 40% own a cat? So I'm doing P less than 40% for my alternative. Okay. What's the standard error? So for one proportion hypothesis test, this is equal to P times 1 minus P, so 0.4 times 1 minus P, which is 0.4, divided by N, which in this case is 400. When I crunch that out, I get 0.0245. My test statistic, here my Z is equal to P hat minus P over the standard error. So what is my P hat? My P hat is 136 out of 400. Okay, I think that's 0.34, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so what I observed is that 34% of American households own a cat versus what the null hypothesis states, which says that 40% would own a cat. And I divide that by my standard error of 0.0245. Maybe because of some rounding we get this.
Oh yeah, because I just did negative 2.44. I didn't round it up to 5.
So when I do that, I get a Z equal to negative 2.45. Okay? So I look up Z equals to negative 2.45. So here I'm expecting 40% of households to own a cat. What I observe is only 34% of households own a cat. So I'm looking for shading for this part, okay? Because my alternative has a less than sign, I'm only going to look up one tail. If I put a not equal to sign, depending on how the question is written, if I wrote a not equal sign here, I would have something called a two-tailed test. So, but because I've got a less than, it's a one-tailed test, so my p-value here, the area in my tail is 0.0071. That just comes from our Z table. So, if I'm using alpha of 5%, it's not specified here, so we just assume alpha is 5%. My p-value is less than 5%, right? It's 0.007, which is less than 0.05. So what's my conclusion? My p-value is less than alpha, so I reject the null hypothesis, which means we have evidence that less than 40% of households own a cat. I hope that makes sense. I hope that works for you guys. Okay. Okay, so with that, we'll end there. Please try out your homework and make sure you understand all of this.